So there's more inspiration for the girl child as we transit to our next segment. Let's welcome the founder and CEO of Buckwild Media and initiator of E2E, Mr. Efe Omoregie, who joins us now on the program. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Efe Omoregie.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
So you're working on a project called Educate to Empower, and you have chosen to produce a documentary on Nigeria's first female president of the Court of Appeal. Tell us about that project.
Thank you very much. Educate to Empower is a soft advocacy project that we initiate to basically raise awareness about the benefits of girl-child education across Nigeria generally. Over the years, the numbers of out-of-school children has grown at an alarming rate, and it gets worse actually each year. As at the last count, it's roughly about 18 plus million, the highest in the world. So we've taken a deep dive into what are the primary triggers for all of this, and a myriad of reasons. But if you study the statistics, you have a lot of this out-of-school children, in more of them in northern Nigeria. The rates are higher in northern Nigeria. The rates are higher in the northwest and the northeast particularly, and it's almost a 60-40 ratio, with females being more affected. So you ask yourself, what are the barriers to education for females, and what can we do as a community? Because of course, everybody has some degree of responsibility. Obviously, when these problems are talked about, oftentimes it's very easy for people to say, okay, this is government's exclusive problem to fix, right? Sometimes you also have people saying, okay, we're not an NGO, or I'm not in the civil society space and all of that. But the issues with education, with out-of-school children, and the entire dynamics around it affects every single one of us. So as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, as someone who delivers communication solutions, as someone who works in music and art and entertainment, how do we use our platforms? How do we deploy our skills to help change the narrative? So that's in the heart of Educate to Empower as a project.
So the project has a bias for education challenges in the north, with a number of the out-of-school children. So you seek to inspire the young girls for improved engagement, enlistment, or as they say, enrollment in schools.
Yes.
Tell us about the choice of the central figure of this documentary, Justice Zainab Bolkachua. What informed the reason?
So a few years ago, we had the honor of producing this documentary. It was supposed to just tell the story of the first female president of Court of Appeal in Nigeria. But in the course of developing and researching and all of that, we found something really, really important. So Justice Zainab Bolkachua, like a lot of young girls in a growing up stage, was married off early. Now, the really interesting thing about her is that while a lot of her peers were married off early, her father had an understanding with her would-be husband to ensure that he supports her drive for education even after the marriage. The young man agreed, but the father died a few months before the wedding. But he kept faith with his word to the father, and enrolled her to further her education. That singular act would snowball into her, graduating with honors, going to law school, coming out and being a very successful lawyer and later a judge. Actually, the first judge, the first
female
chief
president.
judge, no, the first chief judge of Gombe State. She was, first of all, the first chief judge of Gombe State at creation, before she got to the Court of Appeal and emerged the first female president of the Court of Appeal. So if you follow the story, something tilted the dynamics. Justice Zainab Okachua could have ended up like millions of her peers as wife and mother, and that's okay. But for someone who has the capacity to be a lot more, to be a leader, to affect lives, to play a pivotal role in society, in Nigeria, and make history, you would see how limiting it would have been if she had not gotten the right kind of support from the men folk in her life, her father, first and foremost, then her husband. Now, so what we're trying to say with this story is that, as I say, culture, it's strategy for breakfast, every time. The challenges facing the girl child, as far as education is concerned, a lot of it is cultural and economic, right? You probably would have had an experience where a family has 3 kids, maybe 2 females, 1 male child. It could be anywhere in Nigeria, south, southeast, south, or anywhere, right? The challenges with the family economically, and the option is to send the females to go work, maybe as house help somewhere, generate income for the family, and send the boys to school with the earnings from the child labor of an underage girl. So yeah,
let me just squeeze in this square because we're running out of time. So I imagine that you'd have sort of experienced some sort of pushback based on issues around culture and religion, especially in the work that you do. And I'm sure that's perhaps some of the concerns really for those in the northern part of the country, issues around religion and culture. So I wonder, walk us through what your experience is like, having encountered issues around culture and religion and trying to ensure that the girl child is indeed educated.
So what we're doing is, with this project, the key objective is to pass a very strong message across that those cultural and religious barriers, we don't want to debate them. What we're saying is that they are not mutually exclusive as far as girl-child education is concerned. The girls should be given access, they should be supported, they should have the right opportunities to achieve their fullest potential. Now, while I'm not an advocate of any of these ideas generally, what this story demonstrates is that should you choose to marry early, even if it's your choice as a female, if as a parent you have a role to play in that, if as a man you have a role to play in that, we have to rejig this thinking that she gets married and education, yes, she sometimes not even married. Sometimes some of these ladies, girls get pregnant early. I know of a few family members who, for example, in the past had while they were in JSS or something or SS. They get pregnant and they take 1 or 2 years out of school and they never come back.
Mr. Morgan, yes. I mean, just in this line of this conversation now, because some would argue that, we're beginning to put so much attention on the girl child, and then we're leaving the fact that these girls will be in the same society as the boy child. For instance, now, the average home in Nigeria would say, you hear parents or the mother saying, you're a girl, go to the kitchen, do this, and then the male folks, the boys, are somehow left aside. You can just chill, just do your thing and all of that. So isn't it a concern that while we focus on the girl child, perhaps there should be that balance? Because at the end of the day, both the girl child and the boy child would find themselves in the same society.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree with you 100%. However, I want to believe that the guys have a bit more opportunity because of the way society is set up in Nigeria. It's very this patriarchy has a funny way it wires society. You just made an example of parents asking the girls to do domestic chores and having and thinking it's okay for the guys to the female kids to sit down somewhere and maybe just
the male kids.
Yeah, because there's an imbalance from So the girl child in Nigeria, in Africa, is disadvantaged from the get-go. And these barriers are multiple. So what we want to focus on International Day of the Girl Child is to use the opportunity to highlight, to create awareness about this issue, to connect girls with mentors, to let people know that it's not mutually exclusive. That whatever you do, once you're able to equip a girl child with education, the potentials are tremendous. Justice Zainab Bukachua's, one of her favorite quotes in the film is, you educate a girl child and you empower the nation. The role of women in every society cannot be the importance of the role of empowered women who feel empowered, who feel they have the bandwidth to express themselves to the fullest of their potential. Every society that enables women to be the best version of themselves, of course, the results are there to see. Probably the most progressive societies in the world.
Yeah, the results are indeed myriad. Well, that's not all there is to tell, but we're totally out of time, and we must thank you very much for coming on the program. We've been talking with Mr. Efe Omoregie. He is the CEO, Buckwild Media, and initiator of Educate to Empower. Of course, he's also the former manager of your favorite musician, Two-Face. So we have to get you back to have an expanded conversation and talk about music.
Yeah, I always love to talk about music, theme. It's always an...
we must go now.
Let's have a conversation.
We must go now. All right. It's been an amazing week, amazing journey all through. Let's do this again together next week. I am Bukola Kuka. Bye for now.
I am Kelly Egiga. If you have to drink while driving this weekend, it has to be water. Stick around here. Yeah. Sunrise Daily is next. Good morning.